Welcome to ABC 7 Extra Sunday. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Ross. Tonight, we wrap up our Your Voice, Your Vote series of previews of the November general election with the races for El Paso District Attorney and El Paso County Sheriff. In this segment and the next, you'll hear from the District Attorney candidates, Republican Bill Hicks and Democrat James Montoya. Mr. Hicks was appointed in December of 2022 to fill the unexpired term of DA Ivan Rosales, who resigned, and Mr. Montoya, currently a public defender and former assistant district attorney. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show tonight. District Judge Sam Medrano, who is overseeing the state's case for the Walmart shooter, issued a scheduling order last month that has arguments on pretrial motions beginning in January of next year, 2025, and then jury selection possibly in January of 2026. Mr. Hicks, are you comfortable with the timeline, and are you still planning on seeking the death penalty in this case?
Well, obviously, we announced ready for trial back in January or December of 2023, and we had hoped to try the case much earlier than January of 2026. But be that as it may, we're comfortable proceeding with the scheduling order that the judge has put out. And I do believe that the jury should be the one to make that decision on whether or not the shooter should have the death penalty or life in prison. And I believe that should be a decision made by the jury.
But it is on the table.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Mr. Montoya, your response.
Sure. I mean, I think the timeline that the judge has issued is realistic. I know people are frustrated about how long it's taken. I will tell you that, I personally believe he deserves the death penalty. I was working on the case in 2019 and 2020. I went to the Walmart. I went to the crime scene on the day of. I will tell you that I am concerned that the Department of Justice, the federal prosecutors in D.C., decided not to pursue the death penalty. I have not had a chance to speak with them on why they decided not to do that. I think that decision of theirs has really put the state's case in a really tough bind. It's concerning that one of the prosecutors that Mr. Hicks hired to work on the case quit 2 weeks ago. That's not the first one. That's the second lawyer in the Walmart case to have quit from Mr. Hicks's team. And really the last lawyer working on the case in his office, who's working on it full time, I mean, she supports my campaign for DA. And so I will tell you that, I plan, if I'm fortunate enough to win this election, January 1st, that is gonna be the #1 priority of the office. All
right. Mr. Hicks, one of your biggest challenges during your tenure has been staffing the office after your predecessor, Ivan Rosales, fired many of the assistant DAs and staff. So where do you stand now on staffing, and what are you doing about any backlog of cases that's resulting from a lack of staff?
Well, we don't have a backlog of cases resulting from staff. We had the 14,000 case backlog that we started off with that was kind of sitting on the front door of the DA's office. That backlog has been eliminated. Over the past 2 years, we've been running at about 150% in our intake section, taking all of the cases that were backlogged into our intake section, processing them, and moving them into the courts. Each court controls their own calendar. So some courts have a backlog that they started out with from COVID, and some courts are managing that better than others. So you'd have to look at each court individually to determine what each court's backlog was. Now, as far as the staffing goes, when I started off, I had between 63 and 65 attorneys coming out from Ivan Rosales. I am now at 74 attorneys, and I have 4 outstanding job offers as we speak today. So while I lost attorneys that Ivan Rosales had hired over the past 2 years, I have more than made up for the attorneys that have left the office, and we're now at 74 attorneys, plus I still have some job offers outstanding. So we're in pretty good shape. We certainly have some job openings available.
So the number could be higher?
It could be higher, yes, absolutely. So we have some job openings available, and not a lot. We could hire about a total of 9 positions right now available that are open for hiring right now.
All right. Mr. Montoya, what would you do about making sure there's enough staff and assistant DAs if you are elected?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked, Mark, because this, in my opinion, is the #1 issue of this race. There is a critical staffing shortage in the district attorney's office. I know Mr. Hicks says otherwise, or he says I'm being an alarmist, but you know, I brought a visual because I think it's really important to see. Every 2 years, we would take an office picture at the DA's office. This is what a fully staffed district attorney's office looks like. It's 87 assistant prosecutors. Under Mr. Hicks, last year, 66 assistant prosecutors, much, much lower. And I'll tell you, you know, this picture was taken last year in 2023. I know people have been hired. 20 lawyers that were a part of his office last year, 20 of them no longer work there from 1 year to the next. It's a tremendously high amount of turnover, and it's hurting the cases. They're not able to fully work on the cases as they should, and it's having a detrimental impact. I mean, close to 40% of the felony cases are being dismissed this year. Over 50% of the family violence cases, felony family violence cases, are dismissed. Close to 50% of the child sex cases this year have been dismissed. And so when you ask me what is my solution, there are people here, there are lawyers here in El Paso who want to go work at the district attorney's office. They want to come work for me. There are people in the district attorney's office right now who have told me that they want to quit. They do not enjoy working for Mr. Hicks, but they are hanging in there to see this through because there's light at the end of the tunnel with this election.
All right. We will continue our conversation with the candidates for El Paso District Attorney after the break. You're watching ABC 7 Extra Sunday.